Oh lord, they coming out strong with this one.
Hey! Okay. Chill, Granny.
Where's your eyeballs? You know, you creep me out, Granny, but for the love of God, I'm on your side. Don't open that door. Why are we killing wrinkly old grandma? You need to go watch this right now. Summer Hikaru Died episode 1, must watch. If you enjoy the video, drop a like, show your support. Subscribe if you're new around here, and Patreon is where those full live reactions and other exclusives live. So I had high expectations. I'd probably argue this was my most anticipated first episode. It just sounded really cool. And based on the trailer, it looked freaky. And I'll admit, the first half of this episode I thought was good. Don't get it twisted. I don't want anyone to be like, oh, he's... No. It was good. But it didn't live up to the expectations I had set out, which is fine. Sometimes you make the bar a little too high. But I gotta be honest, by the end of the episode, I think they closely matched what I wanted. The idea of someone who, you know, you got these two best friends, right? And right away they kickstart the friend dead. And some sort of alien creature is like, I was like, is that attaching to him? It takes his body, takes his identity, his memories, and lives among the people. And right at the beginning, they say, bro, you're not Hikaru, are you? And he jumps him and says, please, bro, don't expose me. If you do that, I'll have to kill you. But literally, I just want to exist. Now, truthfully, call me skeptical and maybe too much of a hater, but if that's your first interaction with this thing, yeah, it's probably not going to do great things. And then for most of the episode, you are unsure of what the main character, Yoshiki, is going to do, right? Because, like, I couldn't tell, is this a case of he just naturally looks tired? He has a naturally resting bitch face? Hey, I get it, that's me. And over the course of the episode, you really start to piece together what's going on. His home life isn't horrible, but it clearly isn't great. The parents constantly are seemingly fighting over his sister. I believe those are sleeping pills he uses to take, if not antidepressants, whatever. He's probably overdosing on them, let's be honest. And throughout the episode, they do this transition with the sound, which is probably one of the coolest audio things I've heard for a horror scene in quite some time, especially if you're watching with headphones. So as they're like walking over the bridge, it's like this siren sound that starts to get almost like elongated, like it's getting drawn out, slowed down, and it's super like, all sounds are being muffled but slowed down to like a tenth or a hundredth of the pace they should, and you just see him almost snap like, I am freaked out. Because he is. My friend is dead, that's not my friend. At the same time, I don't want to accept the reality my friend's dead, so it's like, it's comforting but it's also toxic. And when, you know, imposter Hikaru like ends up responding, be like, yeah bro, I like it. He's like, yeah, he never said it quite like, it's a weird concept of grief. And at the end of the day, a mixture of fear of not wanting to get killed, but also not able to accept that your friend's dead as a perfect replica is there, is going to keep him in a pretty toxic spiral, as then imposter Hikaru goes and kills that old woman. So I wasn't sure what was happening. Is this like a vampire thing? It can't come in unless you invite it in? Now, old Granny creeped me out earlier in the episode, but even I was on old Granny's side. I was like, she doesn't know, just let the wrinkly old bitch live, man. Like, she didn't do no wrong. And I thought what they were trying to say was that there's multiple of these things, because early in the episode, there's this dude who busts through this couple's wall, and there's like one of the alien-like things in the wall. I was like, okay, so there's multiple of them. So that's what I'm thinking, right? Like, okay, we're gonna try to keep this dude a secret, and then eventually there's gonna be some hunters on his ass. And it's gonna be conflicting because maybe they'll go the route that, you know, imposter Hikaru is actually among one of the decent ones. And maybe he still is. Who knows? Maybe they all share the same voice. But as it stands, his voice was the one who jumped old Granny. And I don't know why, because old Granny saw him, because seemingly there's been a couple of instances where people responded negatively to him, almost like they can see him, whether that was the cat, whether that was the older woman. There also was a shopkeeper that we walked by who kind of gave side eye, and I almost think that anyone who seemingly knows or has a suspicion and isn't overly joyful towards him is gonna get got immediately. This is a really cool idea for a show, and the visual style that they're going for, stunning. The best way I can describe it is it almost reminds me of the character designs of Zenkyo no Terror, mixed with the kind of world and the way it looked from Heavenly Delusion. And that's a really cool visual style. And honestly, I thought what was happening at the very end after the old woman got jumped, all you see is like a red dot on the screen. I thought what it was the credits were going to start playing that. It would just be like a little red light and credits would roll. No, it's a fade into the police sirens as the old woman's dead. This is going to get bloody. And I really enjoy what they did for the horror visuals. So, you know how like any sort of movie where it has kind of like hippies getting high, it has like that kind of spiral multicolor, that's like what they did for it. And it's such a creative way to get across something completely unnatural rather than just going super mutated with it, which they still do because it like his eye was popping out, but the color that they chose for it was just so cool. Will this one get slept on? 70% sure it will. I'm welcome to be proven wrong. I personally really love it, and I'm going to do my best to promote it. I do fully believe, though, that it will eventually get dropped off the channel because no one will want videos on it. So you're always welcome to prove me wrong. But either way, this is clearly going to be one of my personal favorites of the season, and I would really appreciate it if the anime community could not disappoint me 2 seasons in a row, because Apocalypse Hotel got far too slept on. Very different show than this, mind you, but still deserved so much more buzz than it got. So please, for the love of God, Summer Hikaru Died. It got death, so the monkey brain's got to be focused a little on this, because that always happens. If there's death in a show, it does keep interest more than if there isn't. For the love of God, get this one trending, because it absolutely deserves it. I am very interested in the two's dynamic, incredibly. I'm worried about how many in this village are going to make it out alive, but I'm also incredibly fascinated to learn more about this Hikaru imposter. Like that scene in the classroom, so they're watching some movie. I don't know if that was appropriate for school. It kind of looked like a domestic abuse film, but apparently they've seen it like 5 times. And this thing has all the memories. And he's like, yeah, it is in my memories, but this is the first time I've seen it. And then it affected him. So it's like the fact that he has these memories, but anything that he firsthand experiences, even if it's in his memory banks, acts like a first experience. And that's a pretty cool concept. I have a lot of questions. Let me know your thoughts, whether if you are a fan of the source or if you're anime only like me. What did you think? Whether you went in blind having no idea what this was, or you're like me and this was one of your more anticipated. Did it live up to the hype? I'd say it mostly did. And for me, I'm very excited for more, so thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell of course, and like I mentioned, Patreon is where those full live reactions will live, so even if YouTube doesn't mess with this series, that's where it will always be located. And hey, I also give video shoutouts to all of my patrons. So today we got Soggy Toast, Jess Y, I Am Here, Alex A, Sayonara, Parnick, Alex Jackson, and we also have Crystalline Harris. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.